Bitcoin is a bank in cyberspace. Monetary energy, core of the earth. Doubles every year. Listen to my words. Selling doesn't hurt. Selling is absurd. It's like cutting off your wings, but you want to be a bird.
Welcome back, guys. Just want to talk about BTC today. Nothing much. Just want to give you a little update. I'm not sure what happened yesterday. Yesterday's video took about 5 hours to upload. I have no idea what happened, why it happened. But hopefully we don't going to have this kind of the same issue. I think YouTube must have had an issue or something. But anyway, let's look at the dominance. So we've got the dominance. This is on the 4 hourly. Let's move on to the daily and see what the dominance is showing us. So we can see that we are constantly trying to battle and break above this dominance, right? So we're trying to get above this particular resistance and get up and try and test the 50, right? So this is what we're trying to do on the dominance. But so far, as you can see, we're inside a pattern. Now, most likelihood, we could easily have a situation, so let me get this out. We could easily have a situation where we might actually have a pattern form like this, even come down up to here. As long as we can hold it up to here, we might then get back up here and then hopefully try and break it. But so far, it looks like this particular zone, what we're seeing is it's highly likely that we are going to try and break this particular trend line and then move up and hopefully try and target the 50. Now, BTC dominance is actually very good for the market, right? So if BTC dominance goes up, then everything else will follow. So that's why we need to really, focus on this particular line right now and see, okay, what are we seeing on the dominance? Are we getting up there? Are we going to be moving the market back up? So that's what we need to look at. So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on this one chart again, because I want to keep the cleanest chart here. I'm going to focus on this and just show you what I'm seeing. So this particular area, remember I talked about it, we need to have a trend line. So what I'm doing is I'm adjusting this specific trend line depending where we have 3 points meet up, right? And as I said, we could have a situation where it might, let me just see if I can have something. So let's have this, right? For example, we were here, so we had we had this here, and we had this trend line forming, right? For example, we had this trend line forming. This trend line has been broken. Now we have another trend line forming, and this trend line is, for example, the range is up to here, right? For example, the range is up to here. So we've got this trend line here. We can put another one and just show you. 1 second. 1 second. Let me add this actually to my thing. So yeah, we can take this and we can say now we have another trend line. So we had another trend line from approximately, just say this curve here, right? So we've got this trend line here. What do we think this trend line could possibly do? So we could have this is an angle. So as you're just trying to demonstrate, the angle of this particular line could change. So it could come up to here. Let's draw one and just show you. So this angle could easily change and become like this, or even go back up like this. So this is what we're looking for, is we want 3 points of confirmation to give us an angle of the trend line, so we know where we're going. So ultimately, as long as we stay within this trajectory, we should be fine, right? So I'm going to leave this here or any of this here. And what I've done is this particular chart, I've actually made it public. So a lot of you guys could see what's going on, right? So let's get rid of these. So we've got this line here, you can see the bullish pattern we're looking for. And I'll get it here and actually make it into 4 hourly so you can see more. So you'll understand what I'm talking about, right? So the bullish pattern we are looking for, right, is that we have these lows, and then we have a high, and then we have a low, and then we have a high, and then we have a low, and then we have a high and a low, right? Whatever we do, we don't want to fall back into this trajectory and go below, right? So if you understand what I'm saying, like, so currently where we are, as long as we see a pattern, right, that moves us upwards, right? So we hold here, and then the pattern itself is moving up on this particular line, it's fine. We're going to have our ups and downs. That's giving us moving back up to the market. If we end up coming onto this line, it's still fine as long as we can hold this line, right? So as long as we can hold this line, we can climb back up again. That's not an issue. That's more of a sideways action for us. However, if we fall below this line, then we got a problem, because that means that this rally was, this whole section here was a failure, right? So this is what I'm trying to explain here. Sometimes you've got to look at the bigger picture and say, okay, everything looks all exciting, everyone's getting exciting, oh yes, we're moving back up again. but just understand that there are multiple factors playing here. And remember, worst of all, we have one particular thing. This is what I said to you. I'm not bearish, but I do look at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is we're still way below this trend line, this massive trend line. We need to get above this trend line in order to complete. And also here you can see this particular area here. So let me put this better. Let me put this here. So I'm using the wicks here, as you can see, the wicks, right? So we've got the wicks here, and what you can see is this trend line hasn't even been confirmed yet. So in order for us to confirm this trend line, we need to have at least one more touch point sometime, and then here, and then move back up and continue this. So we got this pattern we need to play here, right? In order for us to have a greater upward trend line, right? And now if we do a mini trend line, then we need to have us going that way, which is fine. But remember, ultimately, we need to get above this particular trend. That's when we're going to see a market reversal. So just wanted to show you all of this stuff because there is a lot going on that a lot of people are just not seeing or not focusing on, because so many people are focusing on this area. They forget that we still have this one massive trend line holding everything back, right? We still have this massive traffic zone holding everything back, right? So the longs and the shorts and everything. Now, longs and shorts, there's another reason for the longs and shorts, right? So what's happening with the longs and shorts, and I'll show you this quickly here, right? So let's go on the daily to show you this, right? So on the daily, what you can see is this red line and this blue line. This is going to create what's known as a death cross, right? This is going to create what's known as a death cross. So what it's going to do is basically this one's going to come down probably at some point, and this one's going to go up probably at some point, creates a death cross. Now, a lot of the people actually betting on that, right? They're saying, okay, if it goes down, if it comes to the death cross, market's going to take a little bit of a dive, and then we're going to make a lot of money. Now, I personally don't do shorts as much. I do some, but I don't do any. But I can tell you this much: a death cross, of course, there's two lines connecting. The 200-day moving average and the 50-day moving average will connect, right? And probably surpass each other. But what I'm trying to say is, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, because remember, these are lagging indicators, right? This means this particular indicator is giving you the 50-day average, right? So it's saying for the last 50 days, the high and the low, and that's the medium of this, right? So we're looking at this area here, and we're looking at some low point down here, and we're giving you an average in between that to come and meet here. Does that make any sense, right? That's what we're giving you. The 200-day does the same thing. It calculates the highest of the 200-day and the lowest of the 200-day and says, well, that's the average. This is just an average line, nothing more, right? So I know some people, they like to use this. They like to use this, and they like to say, oh, you know, we're going to use this, and this gives us an indication. Well, it doesn't. I'll tell you what it does. When people start talking too much about it, it becomes news and it becomes a hype, and most people go and, you know, they think that, oh, we're going to have a crash, so everybody dumps their money, and then they crash it down even further. So that's what's happening, right? So you got all of these, you know, long positions and short positions out there who are kind of betting on. Some people are betting it's going to go up, which I feel it is going to go up on a longer term. On a short term, people think it's going to go down. Of course, it's going to go down, but I think the market's going to do the opposite of whatever the majority think. So if you understand what I'm trying to say, if the majority think the market's going to go down, then the market's going to go up. If the majority think the market's going to go up, then it's going to go down, right? So somebody somewhere, you know, Wales and this, that, definitely controlling the sentiment of the market right now, how they're doing it. But we can only go by what we can see on the chart, and the chart, this is exactly what we've plotted so far, as you can see. So let me get rid of this, right? So we've plotted so far that we are forming a mini trend line here. We've got a greater trend line here. So we got let me just change the color for this greater trend line actually, so you'll understand. I'll color code them. So let's put it on a green, right? So we got a greater trend line on the green. We've got a mega trend line on the yellow line, which is coming downward. So we're still in the downward trend line. We have the upward trend line in the green, and then we have these mini trend lines here where you can see that we broke above this particular area, which is good, and we created this particular zone of traffic, and then we broke above. We've got this trend line, mini trend line here, which we need to hold whatever happens. So the weekend's going to be a bit funny, right? I've got a feeling if we don't do this, right? If we don't do this, then I've got a feeling we are going to do this, right, before next week, and then maybe we come back here, test it, and then, so this whole thing is going to be prolonged, right? For us to see this reversal, it's going to prolong. So yeah, I mean, everything looks mad. I'm telling you, everything looks mad. I don't know what to say, especially for the newbies. Now, for the old guys, right? So what I'm going to say to the old guys, hodl, hodl, hodl. You know what we say, right? Just hodl, buy the dips, buy the dips. Simple as that, right? But some of the new guys, what I want you guys to do, please do understand one thing. And this is no financial advice, but please do understand. Nothing goes up straight and nothing comes down straight. These are day candles. You can see how long it took from here to here. It took days, right? We can count that number of days, how many days it took. So for example, if I take it from here to here, you can see it took us 25 days to get to this level. 25 days. So this is what I'm trying to explain to you. So currently where we are, if you look at the situation, we are down here, for example, from down here to down here, right? We're 30 days, right? So we're still deciding, you see? So for example, we're still deciding. And for example, when we decided to move down, let's have a look, right? Let's go from this area. So let's say from here. So we said, okay, we're gonna go down. Let's count all the bars here. So we're just counting the bars up to this bar. You can see 79 days for us to decide to go down. So looking at these, this is this up and down. These are the zones you need to look at. So these are longer time frames. So your parabolic moves where there's not much of a traffic is always going to be shorter than these ones where these are accumulation phase and consolidation phases, right? Where we are going to see a lot more longer time frames, right? So if I was to copy this particular time frame and say, well, if we take the same amount of time to go back up, then we said we had 79 days, right? So let's bring 79 days for example. So let's bring 79 days. This takes us to August the 6th, right? So you can see the date down here, August the 6th, right? This is what is going to happen. So please do understand, it's going to take a long time before we can break out this channel. It's not going to happen overnight, right? Maybe by some fluke sometime, we might get some bulls come in and just push it back up if the market sentiment changes. But this whole section here, we can go all the way to July, August, easy, right? I mean, August easy, maybe even, September, right? We can even go all the way to September before we break the pattern, right? So please do understand, it's not something that just happens overnight. Everything takes forever. When you're looking at candles, you can see how long it takes for us to get to whatever level we need to. For example, when we had this corona dump, right, in 2020, we were up here. For us to get back up to this level, as you can see, these candles here, right, and then confirm the breakout, right? Let's do a calculation and show you. So we had the fall here, we had the dump happening here, right? And let's see how long it took us to get back up to the dump. So it took us 169 days to finally break above this and then carry on upwards. So you see 169 days for that one candle to confirm and say, right, now we're going up. You see what I mean? So this is what you have to understand. Nothing happens overnight, right? Especially, this is only for the new guys, by the way, guys. So please do understand, nothing happens overnight. Everything will take its time, and it will get there. So please, whatever you do, if you're new guys, you want to stay on the sidelines, stay on the sidelines. Old guys, huddle, because you know what's going to happen. This is not just something just happening. I mean, a lot of guys that joined very recently, so some guys probably joined somewhere around January or something like this. According to this, some guys are still up, right? According to this, some guys are still up, because we're looking at the percentage. Now, if someone bought it up here, sadly you are down, but this is Bitcoin. This is what happens, and you just got to be patient with it, right? Just be patient with it. It will give you at a certain time. But remember one thing, I've always said this. I said, if you're in it, you got to be in it for 5 years. If you're not in it for 5 years, then it doesn't work for you. Shouldn't be for you, right? You got to be in it for a longer time. Your investment should be in it for a longer time, and you don't invest what you can't afford to lose. Number one. So that's that, right? And whenever you make profits, try and take as much profit as possible. BTC is not how would I say this? It's not one of the thing for the impatient, right? BTC is not for the impatient. BTC will take your money if you are impatient, right? Because you are going to lose more, your sentiment and everything. You are going to lose a lot more. So this is why I'm just sticking on one chart today, just to kind of show you guys. Also, I'll just share this here. 1 second. Save. Yeah, save. So this layout, you can see it, and you'll see what's going on. But yeah, there's a lot going on here. A lot. We need to hold this trend line. We need to hold, definitely. So it's not a bad thing, but as mentioned on another video that we do, so I know a lot of people make the take a piss, literally. Oh, is the 20k still in play? Is the 30k still in play? And it's like they kind of take the piss. Oh, we're moving back up, so all of this is still, nobody's talking about that. No, lines are still here, please. The lines are still here. So when you're talking about it, if like when we're talking about, say, 20k still in play, let's get here. Go on a second. Let me give you this. When we talk about is the 20k still play and this and that, and people take the piss, right? Yeah, look, this chart, every price here is still in play, right? Every bottom price here is still in play. So I know a lot of people, I don't know why they do this, but it's just, you know what? It's definitely demoralizing, honestly. It just taking the piss, and it's just like demoralizing. I don't understand. It's like, why do people act like that? I mean, end of the day, I haven't got a crystal ball. Nobody's got a crystal ball. We can only follow the chart and give you the trends based on the chart. We can give you the numbers based on the charts and see what's happening. So we know that currently we're struggling. We're seeing all these rejections because of this particular zone here on the actual dominance chart, right? This is what we're seeing. We're seeing this situation here, right? We're also seeing this current play zone because we're in this particular channel. We're inside this trend here, this triangle, this greater triangle here. Now just draw the triangle, if that makes any sense for anybody. But that's what we're on, right? So if we're in this particular zone, respect it. This is where you are, right? You can't turn around and just expect the market to basically all of a sudden. So I'll leave this here just for now anyway. It'll probably save all. But look, this is the greater triangle we're in. Unless we're out of this zone, we're not going anywhere. And this, as long as we're closer to this particular area, we're in danger of going down. So we're in danger of coming back down and going and hitting those 20,000 levels, right? So please do understand, right? So, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just sometimes it just really annoys me. It's like I don't see any respect. I just see a lot of people taking the piss. But as I said, guys, look, my lines are here. I'll take a screenshot. Tell me that, if I haven't told you what the ups are and what the downs are, where the traffics are, where the traffic are not, if I haven't told you where we're going to have rebounds and everything. Like, if you look carefully, this is a chart, right? You can see the resistance was faced perfectly on that line, right? Well, not perfect, but close enough, and you can see we're holding support on this line. Yesterday we broke this support. Day before, look, you can see how we held that support just about. I might be off by a dollar or two, $300 maybe, even because of what the price of Bitcoin is. But I mean, look, we held that. We're currently, we broke that. So we just, like yesterday we broke that. So we held that, we broke that, and now we're holding this trend line. Okay, forget this trend line because this is not confirmed, but this is playing this game, right? So the lines may not be 100% accurate, but the patterns, we know what we're expecting. We're expecting this box to be bouncing, right? This box is going to be bouncing. We need to stay above this line in order to have this upward momentum. We need to have a third touch point to confirm that this is the upward momentum. Even here, I'm using the wicks, which is not the best. We need to use bodies. So I'm hoping to bring this up to this body here and then have a trend line. But right now, I can't move this because there's not enough data there, right? When we're going to break up, well, it's going to be a long time. And as I said, we're not going to break around. We're not going to just shoot straight up. It's not going to happen. We are going to play, we're going to play around like this. And maybe here we break out. We need a good zone to break out. We don't want a heavy zone to break out. We want a light zone where there's no traffic, nothing whatsoever. That's where we want to break out. So I hope this video just kind of helps out. But I know, like, every time I think about how some people react regarding charts and how some people comment on stuff, yeah, I am gonna start shutting down groups probably, or just probably not talk anymore. I'll just do member stuff, so that way I can answer for real, genuine people, you know, not some, I don't know what to say. Anyway, so like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on another one. Adios.